Wamani mwena imbashankwana natahamu kinye kutwita no reka abashomesa kamutandije kuno katura You're most welcome, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much for inviting me for this function, where we are championing the education of children. When I'm in Rushere, we are at home as members of parliament, because this is where our father and mother come from. When President Museveni came to my place, he took over and became a heir in our home. So I am in my father's place. And I am feeling at home that I am here. Under normal circumstances, I would have not come. But because it is Rushere, we had to come. And I want to thank sincerely my honorable members of parliament who managed to come with me. I love you so much. And I promise I will go to all your constituencies. Education is the key to success. And because you said we are coming to fundraise for education for science students, we had to be here. I am also happy that the people of Ankole have changed their mindset towards education. Originally, they were there looking after cows. For us in the East, even the Bible says, the white people come from the East. And we from the East, the truth is, the white people come from there. But I am also happy that the Western people, especially in this area, I have not seen so many people, but I'm saying we are very happy that you're promoting education. And since once you educate a kid, especially a girl child, then you're educating a nation. Once you have these schools, and I want to thank the Anglican Church for complementing the government programs. I know the government is doing a lot, but thank you so much for coming back home. As you said, you lost your fathers. Now you've come back home, and now we are going to make sure that we improve on the standard of education. My Lord Bishop, I have one simple request. With the people of Kiriora and the people of Kazo, that you gave us very good members of parliament. Very good members of parliament. In the name of Wilson, Herbert, Giovanni, Jennifer, and Dan.
Is new, especially secondary education. It was only in 1982 that we first got the enrollment, the first enrollment of the first secondary school, then called Ramasha, now it is called Karo High School. That is just yesterday. Other counties, other districts had got universities and technical and tertiary institutions. Now that's one. So when I contested for Nyabushozi, I made a pledge to improve, to uplift the education standards in Nyabushozi constituency. And I'm continuing on that, I'm delivering on that pledge for the people of Nyabushozi. Although we have education in Nyabushozi, but it's not so competitive. Most parents take their children, especially for secondary, to other schools outside Nyabushozi constituency. And to us as leaders, we thought that is not good. That bleeds our economy and sustains other economies. We must build our own schools in Nyabushozi. So last December, we held Nyabushozi Stakeholders Conference here, Nyabushozi Education Stakeholders Conference, where we called chairpersons, LC3s, chairpersons of boards of governors, PTAs, headmasters of both primary and secondary, the church, the Catholic Church and the Protestant Church and all other stakeholders. And we put a specialized committee of 7 people, including 3 retired head teachers whose schools were doing very well, and 3 active head teachers whose schools are doing very well. And they gave us the reasons why, because our drive was to return Nyabushozi students to the schools in Nyabushozi, to uplift and inspire this education standards in Nyabushozi constituency. So they told us their challenges. One, they did not have sufficient laboratory facilities to teach sciences, although science education has now become compulsory. So now that we do not have science equipment in our schools, chemicals and apparatuses and study materials means we are not going to teach sciences, means we are going to keep taking our children to other schools. So as a leader, I championed that. I have called my members of parliament. The turn-up was massive. I am very happy with it. The Right Honorable Speaker was here and all other colleagues who turned up to support me. But before that, I had commissioned a study, an assessment in all secondary schools in Nyabushozi to establish their capacity to teach sciences. We knew that we can complement government by privately buying these apparatuses, equipment, test tubes, chemicals and study materials. So every secondary school in Nyabushozi is going to be helped. We are going to give them apparatuses, we are going to give them chemicals, we are going to give them study materials in science, so that our children in Nyabushozi can study sciences. Because there is no country that can sustainably transform without focusing on science. And never again shall the children of Nyabushozi travel long distances to do science practicals in other jurisdictions. That is the essence of today's function. The schools in Nyabushozi, and all of them are lacking in one or the other, except the newly commissioned Nyakashasha Rasid Secondary School. But the rest are lacking in either equipment, in either study materials or chemicals. So we have a select team, as I told you, of specialists who are now going to sit down, look at the budget, and we equip every secondary school basing on the report that we carried out. So this is not guesswork. We already have what we want. We already have identified a need, and we have now got the necessary finances. We are going to equip our laboratory. Other members of parliament are going to do exactly this. But even the speaker mentioned it, because the speaker is a member of parliament too. So what they have seen here in Nyabushozi, I can assure you it's going to be rolled out other constituencies in the country. And we give credit to the leadership of Wilson Kazrenje.
You appropriate money in parliament every financial year.
I agree entirely. But let me tell you, priorities. You see, our budget is not self-sufficient. Our development plans, our national development plan 3, so we have competing priorities. We need to build hospitals, we need to build roads, we need to equip all others, we need to pay our, to build our security. So you find we have little that we can give to secondary schools. And why support only secondary schools? Why not primary schools? So the leaders can actually mobilize resources and supplement government.
The equipment for lab, the computers, to encourage our people to study sciences. It cannot come from heaven. It is practical. Who sit for exams at S4 and at S6? Only less than 20% do sciences, the rest do arts. So we are saying, with the current situation of this country and the nation at large, Chulhura must also catch up with the program of science. So we have joined hands and we are promoting sciences in our district. And this is a start actually. We must move forward. Every year we shall see that we add a step forward. That is why we are here.
So how much money are you looking at collecting? Not in this very exercise, but if you have to equip the entire schools, and how many schools do you have in mind for it to equip?
The schools that we intend to fund actually are the whole district. Almost 14 secondary schools. But for a start, we are looking for more money, though we have raised that. My colleague who was the head of this, will give the budget. I don't want to come into the budget issue, and yet I was a member of parliament leading that. And I want to tell you that together we join our efforts to promote sciences in our district, especially for a girl child.
Exactly, that's what I want to begin from.
On my side, for a girl child.
Yes. What's the status?
Education is improving, but gradually reduce as they go high. When you go to primary schools, the girls are many in school. When you go to secondary schools, a little bit higher. And when you go to HSC, complete a dropout. So, and especially in sciences, there is a tendency here that girls don't do sciences. Even when you see 2 girls in a school doing sciences, that is like a miracle. And initially, even our culture, education was not number 1 for the side of women or girls. But today, we are promoting them. We are saying girls can also do it. Because we have seen many who are doing it. We have seen women who are engineers. We have seen women who are doctors. So we are saying, this is not a miracle. Any girl can do science and pass. So we are encouraging sciences in schools, and we are encouraging education for all children, as opposed to our culture, where girls were not taken as a priority.
We receive different grants from the central government. We receive money that we call capitation grant. That is in the form of UPE, or Universal Primary Education Capitation Grant, and Universal Secondary Capitation Grants. We get about 900 millions for capitation grants and running of the education activities. Capitation grants go directed to the school accounts. We send that money to schools, and the different schools get different monies according to their enrollment. UPE, we give it to primary schools, all the government primary schools. We have 74 primary schools in Chiruhura district. We have 7 USE, or Universal Secondary Education schools in Chiruhura. That is the capitation grant. But we also get money that we call school facilities grant. That is the money we use for construction of schools, of classrooms, construction of teachers' houses, and supply of desks. So that is the kind of money we receive from the central government. But currently, there's a grant that we are running, a program called the Uganda Intergovernmental Physical Transfers Program. That is a World Bank program, funded program, that has given Uganda money to construct seed secondary schools. So far, we have constructed 1 seed secondary school in Chiruhura, and that is Nyakasha Seed Secondary School, which was constructed at a cost of 1.9 billion shillings. Then that was phase 1 of UGIFT. Phase 2, we are constructing Karo High School and Lekumburu Secondary Schools. We are constructing different facilities in those schools. We are constructing different facilities in those schools, which were a presidential pledge. But we're also having a new program that is coming on board called Uganda Secondary School Expansion Program, and that is going to construct one seed secondary school in Retam sub-county.
Okay, you talked of SF